Hello everyone, welcome back to our weekly market analysis video with me, Frankie, your market analyst at Markets4U. In today's video, we'll be looking at the key economic events and data releases from February 2nd to February 6th, 2026. I've already set up my screen to display the economic calendar from the traders room at Markets4U. I've set the dates from February 2nd to February 6th, covering this week's important events in GMT. Please remember to adjust to your respective time zones. Let's dive into this week's events. Monday starts with German and Swiss retail sales data, US ISM Manufacturing PMI, and New Zealand building permits. Tuesday brings Australian building permits, the Reserve Bank of Australia interest rate decision where rates are expected to be raised to 3.85% from 3.6%, and US JOLTs Job Openings. Wednesday features Eurozone inflation figures and PPI data, US ADP employment change, and US ISM services PMI. Thursday includes Australian balance of trade, German factory orders, Eurozone retail sales, the Bank of England interest rate decision expected to hold at 3.75%, the ECB interest rate decision also expected to hold at 2.15%, the ECB press conference, US initial jobless claims, and Japanese household spending. Friday concludes with a major day featuring German industrial production and balance of trade, the crucial US Non-Farm Payrolls data, Canadian employment figures including employment change, US Michigan consumer sentiment, and Canadian IV PMI. This week's key market-moving events will be the Reserve Bank of Australia rate hike decision on Tuesday, the ECB and Bank of England decisions on Thursday, and the US non-farm payrolls on Friday. These releases should create significant opportunities across major pairs. Now, let's go to the technical analysis. This week, we'll focus on the Australian dollar against the US dollar and the euro against the US dollar, as both instruments show similar technical patterns after Friday's sharp decline. Let's start with the Australian dollar against the US dollar. Looking at the daily chart, the Australian dollar is currently trading around 0.6963, showing signs of weakness after Friday's strong sell-off. The price moved lower strongly on Friday but is still trading above the 20-day moving average, which continues to provide dynamic support. The stochastic oscillator is trying to cross lower and attempting to exit the overbought area, but is still inside, suggesting the correction may continue. Looking at important levels, the Australian dollar against the US dollar has support at 0.6893 and 0.6798, while resistance can be found at 0.7049 and 0.7143. Tuesday's Reserve Bank of Australia interest rate decision will be the most crucial event for this pair. The RBA is expected to raise rates by 25 basis points to 3.85%, which would typically be supportive for the Australian dollar. The position above the 20-day moving average is still technically bullish, but Friday's sharp decline and the stochastic trying to exit overbought suggest caution. If the RBA delivers a hawkish rate hike on Tuesday, it could halt the decline and push the pair back toward the 0.7049 resistance. However, a dovish hike or concerns about economic weakness could see the pair test the 0.6893 support level and potentially the 20-day moving average. Now, let's turn to the euro against the US dollar. On the daily chart, the euro-dollar pair is currently trading around 1.1853, showing similar weakness to the Australian dollar. The price moved lower strongly on Friday but remains above the 20-day moving average. The stochastic oscillator is currently exiting the overbought area and trying to move even lower, suggesting potential for continued downside pressure. Looking at key levels, the euro against the US dollar has support at 1.1756 and 1.1644, while resistance stands at 1.1970 and 1.2080. Wednesday's Eurozone inflation data and Thursday's ECB interest rate decision will be crucial for this pair. The inflation figures are expected to show a year-over-year rate of 1.8%, down from 1.9%. The technical setup is similar to the Australian dollar, with price above the moving average but showing bearish momentum. Thursday's ECB decision will be key. If the ECB maintains a dovish stance and inflation continues to cool, the pair could test the 1.1756 support level. Friday's US non-farm payrolls will also be critical. A strong US jobs report could accelerate the euro's decline, while a weak report could provide support. Both instruments could see considerable volatility this week. Traders should be particularly cautious during Tuesday's RBA decision, Thursday's ECB and BOE decisions, and Friday's US Non-Farm Payrolls, as these events can cause sudden spikes in volatility and potential gap risks. Remember, always manage your risk carefully and never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's it for this week's analysis. See you in the next video.